Vision is more important than leadership. Write that down. It sounds offensive to the ego because titles love applause. But vision doesn't need clapping. It needs clarity. Direction precedes authority. Say that back to me. Direction precedes authority. Without destination, your authority is just noise in a microphone. My real love is people like you who came for training, not a show. If you wanted goosebumps, there are plenty of tents selling miracles. But you came for maps. I respect you because you paid the price of attention, and attention is the first currency of leadership. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. That is not a parable about eyeballs. That is a warning about vision. You can be sincere and be wrong. You can be passionate and be lost. You can have a title and still be a danger. Leadership without vision is a collision course. Write this down. Leadership begins where clarity begins. You don't need a bigger platform. You need a clearer picture. People are not refusing to follow you because they are rebellious. They're refusing because you are vague. Vague leaders create exhausted followers. Say it with me. Before I lead, I must see. Again, before I lead, I must see. One more time with conviction. Before I lead, I must see. Proverbs says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. Another translation says, they cast off restraint. In other words, without a clear picture of the destination, people won't submit to the discipline of the journey. Vision is the license to lead. It is the permission slip that people grant you because you have convinced them that there is a there worth going to, and you actually know the way. Let me give you a picture. I sat in a powerful car one night, engine humming like a lion, but the headlights were dead. All the horsepower, all the leather seats, the fancy dashboard, and I could go nowhere. Why? No light, no sight. Authority without direction is immobilized potential. Write this down. Power doesn't move you, picture does. Your belief system is the ignition, but your vision is the windshield. Without it, you are a parked authority. Some of you have been fighting for titles. You don't need a badge if you carry a blueprint. You don't need a throne if you hold a map. People don't truly follow rank, they follow clarity. They will submit their gifts to a destination that dignifies their sacrifices. That is why crowds left Jesus when the clarity of the mission cut through the excitement of the moment. He did not trust crowds because crowds want bread without a burden, miracles without meaning, provision without purpose. He turned and said something hard, and many walked away. Leaders are refined when the crowd thins. Write this down. Leadership is born when toleration ends, especially the toleration of vagueness in your own soul. Hear me. You are not an accident. You are an assignment, but assignments require addresses. If you cannot define where you are going, you disqualify yourself from taking anybody with you. Imagine a pilot announcing, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Today we are going somewhere. You would grab your bag and exit the aircraft. Why do we stay seated in organizations, families, and ministries where the pilot has never been specific? Because we confuse charisma with clarity. Don't be hypnotized by energy. Be guided by vision. Write this down. Charisma may gather a crowd. Vision builds a convoy. God always starts with sight, then sends the leader. He told Abram, lift up your eyes, all the land that you see, to you will I give it. Genesis 13, 14, 15. See, then receive. See, then move. The sequence matters. Direction precedes authority. Let me confront you with love. Stop asking for influence you have not earned through clarity. Authority without vision is abuse waiting to happen. It turns followers into experiments and journeys into circles. Say it again. Before I lead, I must see. I want you to feel that in your bones, because everything else we will build sits on that foundation. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And your work must be seen before it can be led. Many are working hard at jobs with no vision for their work, and they wonder why promotion feels like punishment. Without vision, movement feels like stress. With vision, discipline feels like devotion. Write this down. Vision gives pain a purpose, and authority a direction. It is the North Star that keeps the leader from wandering and the people from wasting. Before you demand loyalty, offer location. Before you request commitment, reveal a clear course. If the blind lead the blind, both fall. If the clear lead the willing, both arrive. So I say to you as we begin, stop polishing your title and start pulling out your telescope. Leaders don't need a stage to start, they need sight. And the moment you see clearly, the people who were waiting for permission will recognize a path in your picture. Say it one last time. Before I lead, I must see. Now write this down and underline it 3 times. Vision is more important than leadership because vision is the license to lead. Direction precedes authority. Leadership begins where clarity begins. Now let me press the issue with love and urgency. Why does vision outrank the title? Because titles can talk, but only vision can point. Write this down. A badge cannot replace a blueprint. Who's the leader? Without a map, the loudest voice is still lost. I don't care how expensive the microphone is. If you cannot show me the mountain, you cannot take me there. People are tired of being managed by volume. They are ready to be led by vision. The scripture says, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? 1 Corinthians 14:8. That's clarity language. Soldiers don't move because a title shouted. They move because a sound was specific. Leadership is born when toleration ends, but you can't end what you can't first see. Some of you have been tolerating confusion, tolerating drift, tolerating meetings with no maps. You keep saying we need more commitment. No, you need more clarity. Whatever you tolerate, you educate. If you tolerate vague goals, you are teaching your team to wander. Write this down. Toleration is the graveyard of leaders, and vagueness is the shovel. You can't confront what you cannot define, and you cannot drive what you have not described. Say it with me, slow and strong. I cannot drive what I cannot define. Let me offend your comfort to protect your calling. Jesus didn't trust crowds. He loved people. He didn't trust popularity. Crowds are thermometers. They tell you the temperature of excitement. Vision is a thermostat. It sets the climate of movement. In John 6, when he turned the crowd from bread to assignment, scripture says, from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. John 6:66. He did not chase them. He clarified the mission. Popularity builds an audience. Vision builds an army. Write this down. Movement requires clarity, not applause. If the crowd must love you to follow you, you don't have a vision, you have a show. Consider the car in your driveway. The speedometer tells you the potential of the machine, 220 on the dial, perhaps. But the speed limit signs on the road tell you the permission of the environment, 45, 60, maybe 70. Most people live by signs, not by dials. Culture, tradition, friends, titles, these set speed limits. Vision removes the cap by selecting the right road. On the Autobahn, the same car becomes a different experience. The car didn't change, the limit did. Write this down. Your capacity is measured by your design, but your velocity is governed by your vision. If your world has capped you at 40, clarity will relocate you to a road that can handle your 140. Stop blaming the pedal, change the path. Trapped in every follower is a hidden leader waiting on sight. You are not an accident, you are an assignment, but assignments require addresses. The manufacturer hid leadership inside you the way a seed hides a forest. Sight awakens it. That's why the enemy of your life is not your manager, it's your mental limit. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Titles reward jobs. Vision reveals work. And when your work becomes visible, followers appear without you asking. Leaders don't chase people. People chase pictures. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone until a map appears. The moment direction is documented, functional leadership emerges. The carburetor leads in fuel. The brakes lead in restraint. The tires lead in traction. The $4 wire can shut the whole operation down. Importance is contextual. But hear me, without destination, all those parts just make noise. Clarity coordinates function. A janitor with a map can outlead a manager with a megaphone, because a clean corridor toward a defined room moves people faster than a speech about excellence. Write this down. Function outranks rank when vision is present. Some of you carry titles that have become disguises for confusion. Repent not with tears, with specificity. Others of you have no title and think you must wait. You do not need permission to be clear. Pick up a pen. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain, that he may run that readeth it. Runners are waiting on writers. You are delaying runners with your silence. If they are not running, it may be because nothing is plain. Say it with me. I cannot drive what I cannot define. Say it again until your chest believes it. Let me show you the ethics of attraction. People follow clarity because clarity honors their sacrifice. When you reveal a destination worthy of discipline and you can describe the route, their yes is informed, not manipulated. That is righteous leadership. That is why Jesus looked at the 12 when the crowd left and asked, will ye also go away? Peter answered, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life. John 6:67-68. Not titles. Words clear, compelling, calibrated. That's vision speaking. So here is the urgency. Retire your addiction to being in charge and become obsessed with being on course. If your environment capped you at 30, relocate your mind to a highway called vision. If your team is drifting, stop demanding loyalty and start delivering location. If you want leaders to emerge around you, write the map and watch function take its place. People do not resist leadership, they resist being lost. Write this down. Vision dethrones titles because people follow clarity, not position. And until you can define it, you cannot drive it. Say it one more time like you mean it. I cannot drive what I cannot define. Now, let's get the map on paper so movement can begin. Open the manufacturer's manual. Read it out loud with me so your spirit hears your assignment. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Stop. That is not religion. That is a mandate. He did not say, let us make a priest. Let us make a manager. Let us make a fan club. He said, let us make man Hebrew, Ish, the human species, male and female, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Write this down. The first assignment given to Ish was not to worship, not to sing, not to attend meetings. The first assignment was read to rule, to tread down, to govern the environment on behalf of the king who owns it. Now lean in. Because words matter. Ish means a human species, every one of us, not a few with collars or badges. Ray, some of you know it as radar, is the creator's verb for your life. It means to govern, to manage, to bring order, to tread down chaos. But note the territory. Fish, birds, cattle, earth, creeping things, not people. Write this down. Dominion is over creation, not over each other. Vision is the picture of how your rad operates in your specific domain without violating the dignity of another image bearer. True leadership is self-discovery. Write that down. Not self-invention, self-discovery, meeting the you God designed before the culture labeled you. Jeremiah heard God say, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth, I sanctified thee. Jeremiah 1-5. That is identity before activity. That is assignment before appointment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Say it with me loud enough to insult your doubt. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Again, I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Vision is the interface between Genesis 1:26 and your everyday. It answers, what does dominion look like when I touch the world? Not a crown, a function. Not a throne, a result. Write this down. Vision defines what your dominion looks like in function, not in rank. When a fish swims, it is exercising rad in water. When an eagle rides the thermals, it is exercising rad in air. They don't need a title to dominate. They need alignment with design. So it is with you. When you teach and ignorance retreats, that is rad. When you organize and confusion dissolves, that is rad. When you compose and despair yields to hope, that is rad. When you engineer and cities become safer, that is rad. Vision shows you the environment you were formed to subdue by service. Let me separate your confusion so your confidence can come home. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs are temporary assignments in someone else's vision. Work is your eternal assignment in God's. Jobs end, work continues. If they fire you, your job is gone. But if they fire you, your gift goes with you. Write this down. Employment is for survival. Deployment is for dominion. Vision takes you from employment to deployment, serving your discovered gift to humanity until fruit begins to advertise you. I met a woman, let me call her Mara, in a hospital corridor, polishing floors at 2 a.m. She told me, Pastor, I have a small job. I said, no, tell me your work. She looked confused. I pressed, what problem do you get angry about? Her eyes watered. Infection, she said. I hate that patients come to heal and catch something here. I smiled. There you are. That's Rad speaking. We sat on an upturned bucket and I made her write a vision. 0 preventable infections in my ward within 12 months. She documented protocols no one saw before, trained nurses on micro movements, labeled forgotten corners, and measured outcomes. In 6 months, the numbers fell. In 12 months, the ward led the hospital. She had no title change, but doctors were asking her for maps. Who was the leader? No one. And everyone until a map appeared. When it did, function took the wheel and fruit introduced her. That's dominion by design. Listen to the scripture again. Let them have dominion. Not let a committee vote them. Not let a bishop lay hands on them. Let them built-in, hardwired factory settings. Psalm 8 says, thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet. Psalm 8-6. Feet are for treading rad. But if you don't know where your feet are assigned, you will stomp on people instead of problems. Jesus corrected this confusion. Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, but it shall not be so among you. Matthew 20:25-26. Don't use rad to control people. Use rad to serve people by mastering problems. Write this down. Vision is your personalized description of how you will apply rad to one arena of disorder. Perhaps it is illiteracy. Perhaps it is waste. Perhaps it is broken families, corrupt systems, unsafe bridges, polluted water, exploitative finance, lazy art, shallow media. Your vision is not a wish. It is a picture of restored order through your gift. And order attracts. Remember, leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. Fruit is your magnet. When your rad produces results, people will run to the shade of your tree. Some of you lost years because you confused environment with essence. Culture gave you a badge and told you that was leadership. No. Write this down. Vision is more important than leadership because vision is the license to express rad legitimately. Without a picture, your authority wanders. With a picture, your authority serves. Your belief ignites the engine, but vision points the tires. This is why Proverbs says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23-7. Think rad, see rad, serve rad. Say this with me. True leadership is self-discovery. Again, true leadership is self-discovery. One more time. True leadership is self-discovery, meeting the you God designed. Now tie it to your breath. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. My assignment has a domain. My domain requires dominion. My dominion demands a vision. Keep saying it until your culture loosens its grip. Hear my heart. I don't want you impressed with sermons. I want you deployed by Scripture. Genesis 1:26 is your commissioning document. It is telling you why you feel restless under titles that do not fit and why you come alive when you fix what others ignore. That is the image speaking. That is likeness demanding expression. And vision is how you translate that image into a map others can run with. Habakkuk already told us, write the vision and make it plain that he may run that readeth it. Runners are not moved by your ego. They are moved by your clarity of rad in a real domain. So lift your eyes like Abram and see your territory, not people to control, but problems to serve into submission. Name your domain, name your disorder, name your gift. Then let rad ride through you as service, not status. When you do, the earth will respond the way oceans part for ships designed to cut waves. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. And when alignment appears, leadership is simply what happens while you work. Now let me diagnose the disease behind your delay. Sight and vision are not the same thing. Sight is a function of the eyes. Vision is a function of the heart. The apostle prayed, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened. Ephesians 1:18. Not your headlamps, your heart lamps. Write this down. You don't see with your eyes. You see through your eyes with your belief. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The Hebrew word for heart, lev, means the control center, the subconscious, the hard drive. That's where leadership lives. Your eyes report. Your heart decides. Your eyes bring you data. Your belief gives it direction. Here is why many powerful people drive into ditches. They have excellent eyesight and bankrupt insight. They can read spreadsheets but cannot read seasons. They can count heads but cannot see a horizon. Jesus warned, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. He was not talking about corneas. He was talking about clarity. Write this down. Many leaders are sighted but vision blind. They see problems. They do not see patterns. They see obstacles. They do not see outcomes. They see crowds. They do not see a course. Let me prove it with the lion. Your eyes say that's an elephant, 5 tons, ears like sails, a walking wall. The lion's belief system says lunch, same object, different leader. Why? Attitude leads mass. Belief governs behavior. The lion is not the tallest, not the strongest, not the smartest. He is the king because of attitude. He believes he can, so he does. The elephant is larger but programmed to fear. He sees a lion and his belief says, run. Your eyes take pictures. Your heart writes captions. Say it with me, strong and slow. Change my belief, change my speed. Again, change my belief, change my speed. One more time until your culture hears you. Change my belief, change my speed. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Your belief system is your steering wheel. Your degrees are the engine. Your experiences are the fuel. Your relationships are the tires. But the wheel determines where the car goes. If the heart is set to safe, the whole machine obeys the limit. If the heart is set to assignment, the same machine finds the right road and releases its potential. Write this down. Skills increase capacity. Belief sets velocity. That is why 2 people with the same diploma produce different destinies. One is governed by limits, the other by vision. Let me take you to Germany for a moment. I told you before they invited me to speak, and I drove the Autobahn. No speed limit. The first 5 minutes, my culture argued with my pedal. My brain kept searching for a sign to arrest my courage. Then I tasted life without artificial caps. The car began to sing a song I had never heard at home. There was life after 170. When I came back to 45 miles per hour, I respected the law, but my mind refused the limit as a definition of me. That is the power of vision. Once you experience a picture of what is possible, your belief system refuses to wear old caps. You become allergic to smallness. You stop praying for permission and start selecting roads that can honor your design. Write this down. Exposure expands expectation. Expectation expands execution. Now, let me love you with truth. Some of you have immaculate optics and a blind heart. You can spot typos, but you cannot see tomorrow. You can read memos, but you cannot read your mandate. You carry a title, but you lack a picture. That is why you keep convening meetings that multiply motion, but not movement. Busyness without vision is harassment. Remember Elisha's servant. He saw the enemy's horses and chariots and panicked. Elisha prayed, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. 2 Kings 6:17. The man's physical eyes were fine. His inner optics were dark. When God opened his inner sight, he saw the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire. The facts didn't change. The frame did. Write this down. Vision doesn't deny facts. It redefines them within a larger truth. This is how inner blindness shows up at work. You say, we can't do that. Budgets are tight. That's sight. Vision says, if the destination is worthy, we will innovate until the budget bows. You say, no one's ever done this in our department. That's sight. Vision says, no one and everyone until a map appears. You say, people won't follow. That's sight. Vision says, people don't resist leadership. They resist being lost. Make it plain. The difference is not information, it's interpretation governed by belief. Say it again, so your nervous system updates. Change my belief, change my speed. I can almost hear someone protest, but doctor, I'm just being realistic. Realistic is often a religious word for resigned. Faith is not denial, it's definition. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. 2 Corinthians 4:18. That sounds irrational until you realize he is teaching you the priority of vision over sight. What you see with the eyes is temporary, subject to change. What you see with the heart, aligned with God's word, is eternal and can change what you see with the eyes. Write this down. Eyes describe. Vision prescribes. Here is your deliverance in one sentence. The greatest leadership handicap is not lack of eyes, but lack of inner sight. That is why some executives with perfect vision charts still steer organizations into ditches, no hard picture. That is why some parents with sharp eyes raise confused children, no home destination. That is why some pastors with dazzling lights guide churches in circles, no map beyond Sunday. Open the eyes of your heart. How? By upgrading your belief with truth until your picture enlarges. Man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Let God's view become your view. So here is your assignment before we move on. Stop asking for new binoculars. Ask for a new belief. Sit with Genesis 1:26 until your love is convinced you were built for rad in a real domain. Walk your mental autobahn every morning, close your eyes, and see the destination so clearly that speed limits become suggestions, not shackles. Test your captions when you face an elephant. What did my eyes say? What did my belief declare? Then command your mouth to prophesy vision to your feelings. Say it with me. Thunder it so your limits resign. Change my belief, change my speed. Again, change my belief, change my speed. One more time for your future. Change my belief, change my speed. Now, let's get those inner eyes open because the map is waiting for a leader who can see. Let me take the mystery out of this so movement can begin. Vision is not a cloud, it is a course. Write this down. A simple sequential framework converts vision from mystery into method. 3 steps. Say them with me. Discover, document, deploy. Again, discover, document, deploy. One more time until your bones remember. Discover before you document. Document before you deploy. Sequence matters. Nothing moves, changes, develops, improves, is corrected, advances, or succeeds without this sequence. You break the order, you break the outcome. Step 1, discover. This is identity before activity. It is meeting the assignment that called your name before you had a name. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. I sanctified thee. Jeremiah 1-5. Discovery asks, what problem was I born to solve? Where does my rad, my dominion by design, most naturally bring order to disorder? Write this down. Your assignment is revealed at the intersection of righteous anger and consistent ability. What makes you grieve? What do you fix even when no one is watching? Where do people say, when you touch this, confusion retreats? That's discovery language. Don't ask for a title. Interrogate your tears. Don't chase a position. Study your pattern of fruit. Checkpoint 1, say it with me. I know my assignment is a problem I was born to solve. Again, my assignment is a problem I was born to solve. Step 2, document. Habakkuk 2:2 is not a suggestion, it is an instruction. Write the vision and make it plain that he may run that readeth it. If it is still in your head, it is still a rumor. Write this down. Documentation transforms passion into a path others can walk. When you document, you convert energy into itinerary. You define a destination that can be described, dated, measured, and shared. Moses, build according to the pattern you saw on the mount, Exodus 25-40. Patterns become plans. Plans become pathways. Put it on paper until a stranger can run with it. What does done look like? By when? For whom? With what standards? If it can't be read, it can't be run. Checkpoint 2, say it strong. I make it plain so runners can run. Again, I make it plain so runners can run. Step 3, deploy. This is where faith stops talking and starts serving. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17. Deployment is not busyness, it is gift-based service aligned with the written vision. Write this down. Serve your vision through your gift until fruit starts advertising you. Don't launch an empire, launch obedience. Start small, specific, and consistent. Jesus said, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Deploy with what you have, where you are, for who is in front of you. Let fruit do the marketing. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. John 15:8. When fruit appears, followership follows. Checkpoint 3, say it out loud. I serve my gift until fruit leads. Again, I serve my gift until fruit leads. Write this down and underline it. Sequence matters. Discover before you document. Document before you deploy. Why? Because if you deploy before you document, you multiply confusion. If you document before you discover, you publish a lie. But when you discover, then document, then deploy, clarity turns into credibility, and credibility turns into momentum. Joseph did it. He discovered his capacity to interpret what others could not see. He documented a national plan, 7 years of storage with measurable quotas. He deployed administration with precision. The result? A nation survived famine and influence found him without an election. Genesis 41. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. Fruit is your magnet. So here is our roadmap for the days ahead. We will not wander. We will walk this path step by step with checkpoints that imprint the truth into your subconscious until your culture's speed limits crumble. Discover, meet your assignment. Document, make the destination visible. Deploy, serve your gift in that direction until results speak. Nothing moves, changes, develops, improves, is corrected, advances, or succeeds without this sequence. Say it with me one more time. So heaven records it and your doubt resigns. Discover, document, deploy. Now write this down. Today, I end mystery and begin method. Step 1, discover, lean in. This is not optional, this is oxygen. You will never become a true leader until you are introduced to yourself. Write this down. Identity precedes activity. Purpose precedes plans. Assignment precedes agenda. Before God gave Adam a job description, he stamped an image and a likeness. Before Jeremiah spoke to nations, he heard, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth, I sanctified thee. Jeremiah 1:5. Ephesians 2:10 declares, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Preordained works. That means the manufacturer shipped you with an assignment already inside. Say with me, until your insecurity surrenders. I am an assignment. I was sent to solve a specific problem. Again, I am an assignment. I was sent to solve a specific problem. How do we meet the assignment that called us before we had a name? 3 discovery lenses. Write this down. Intolerables, inevitables, invitations. These are your mirrors. They will not flatter you. They will find you. Intolerables are the dysfunctions you refuse to tolerate. Inevitables are the strengths that show up whether you announce them or not. Invitations are the repeated requests others make of you because they smell your grace before you advertise it. Through these 3, heaven whispers, look there, that's you. First lens, intolerables. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Your righteous anger is a clue to your assignment. Nehemiah heard about broken walls, and the Bible says he sat down, wept, fasted, and then stood up with a plan. Nehemiah 1:2. He could not tolerate reproach. Jesus saw a temple turned into a market and would not tolerate exploitation. Zeal consumed him, and he cleansed the courts. John 2:13-17. Write this down. What you cannot stand, you were designed to stand against. Your anger at dysfunction is not a personality flaw. It is a birthing room. Exercise, do it before the sun sleeps. List 5 problems you are angry enough to solve. Not annoyed, angry. Angry enough to study. Angry enough to start. Angry enough to be misunderstood. If nothing makes you righteously angry, you are not ready to lead. Say it out loud so heaven records your resolve. I refuse to tolerate what I was born to transform. Second lens, inevitables. These are the behaviors and results that follow you like a loyal dog. You don't try to do them, they try to do you. When you touch a mess, order appears. When you open your mouth, hope rises. When you sit with numbers, patterns jump off the page. When you stand in a room, peace settles like a blanket. Write this down. Your inevitable is the fingerprint of your gift. Stop calling your grace just the way I am. What is easy for you is a miracle for someone else. Remember, your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. If they fire you, your job is gone. Your inevitable goes home with you. Track it. Where do you consistently excel without sweat? Where do hours feel like minutes? Where do you forget to eat because you are fed by flow? That's your inevitable waving at you from across the room saying, I am your work. Third lens, invitations. The world is a mirror. People invite you where they perceive your value. Who calls you when conflict explodes? Who texts you when their resume fails? Who knocks when their child can't read, their teen can't focus, their event falls apart? Don't dismiss their requests. Write this down. Repeated invitations expose recognized assignment. If 5 different departments ask you to just take a look at their process, it's not flattery, it's a map. If families line up after church and say, when you explain that, I could finally breathe, your assignment is whispering. Teach clarity. If entrepreneurs keep asking you to price their products and they all leave more profitable, your assignment is murmuring, translate value. Record the themes. They are breadcrumbs leading you to your forest. Follow your fruit. This is not mystical. It is measurable. Where do people thank you most? Keep a gratitude log for 30 days. Every time someone says, thank you for, write down the exact words. After a month, circle the repeated nouns and verbs. Thank you for organizing us. Thank you for listening without judgment. Thank you for making a complex issue simple. Thank you for making it beautiful. 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 Fixing what we didn't even know was broken. Write this down. Fruit is your compass. Don't argue with results. If fruit shows up every time you face a certain direction, your assignment lives there. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:16. That's not only about false prophets, it's also about authentic purpose. Let me introduce you to Jamal. Fictional? Yes. but you will find yourself in his steps. Jamal could play drums like thunder, and church gave him applause, but applause is not evidence. Fruit is. After services, a line quietly formed, 8-year-olds tugging sleeves, mothers whispering through tears. He helped my son read. See, Jamal volunteered at a Saturday youth program. The first day he saw a boy hiding a book because shame had taught him to perform silence. Jamal's intolerable appeared illiteracy in a city of libraries. His inevitable showed up. He could make words dance, turn letters into adventures, invitations multiplied, parents asking, principals calling, texts at midnight, can you help my class? He kept a gratitude log. Words repeated, confidence, clarity, curiosity. One day he said to me, Doctor, I love music, but my anger is at ignorance. I smiled. You have met your assignment. He had not printed a brochure, but destiny was already reading him. Write this down. When your intolerable, inevitable, and invitations harmonize, you have located your assignment's address. Now, here is your practical drill. Do not clap, do this. For the next 7 mornings, before you touch a screen, sit with a blank page. Intolerables list 5 problems that ignite righteous anger. Next to each, write why it offends the image of God in people. 2, inevitables list 10 activities where you produce excellence without strain. Next to each, write 1 proof of fruit in the last 12 months. Invitations, scan your calendar and messages for the last 90 days. List every unsolicited request for help. Group them by theme. Then ask one dangerous question. If I had to spend the next 10 years solving only one category of problem from these lists, which one would make me grateful and tired in a holy way? That's your assignment, introducing itself by its first name. Don't confuse envy with destiny. Just because you admire someone's lane doesn't make it your road. Saul tried to dress David in his armor. David couldn't tolerate the weight. 1 Samuel 17:38-39. Write this down. What fits them will suffocate you. Your assignment fits like skin, not like costume. Also, do not wait for a title to validate your discovery. Moses argued with God about credentials, and God asked one question, what is that in thine hand? Exodus 4:2. What is already in your hand that solves a problem you can no longer tolerate? Start where your hand and your hurt shake hands. Purpose precedes plans. Assignment precedes agenda. Do not leap to calendars before you have clarity about calling. Plans without purpose are noise on paper. Agendas without assignment are meetings without maps. Say this with me until your resistance retires. I am an assignment. I was sent to solve a specific problem. Again, I am an assignment. I was sent to solve a specific problem. One more time, wake the leader inside you. I am an assignment. I was sent to solve a specific problem. Let me sober you with love. If you do not discover, you will decorate your cage. You will collect degrees for jobs you don't like, sit in meetings you don't need, and post titles that cannot feed your soul. Vision begins when you discover the problem you were born to solve. Write that down and engrave it. Vision begins when you discover the problem you were born to solve. The world is not waiting for your resume, it is waiting for your remedy. When discovery happens, confusion resigns, and your heart says, this is why I'm here. Then and only then are you ready for the next step. Until you meet your assignment, do not move your feet. Meet you, then we will make it plain so runners can run. Now we put pen to prophecy. Step 2, document. This is where breath becomes blueprint. Habakkuk stood on his watch, not to feel inspired, but to receive instruction. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Habakkuk 2:2. Write this down. Clarity is mercy to your followers. When you write the vision and make it plain, you honor people's time, you respect their sacrifice, and you give their feet a reason to move. Runners are waiting on writers. Your silence is delaying someone's sprint. Vision without documentation is a cloud of desire. Vision with documentation is a map others can trust. Let me press this into your bones. Write this down. If it's not written, it can't be shared, scaled, or stewarded. If it lives only in your head, it dies when you sleep. But when it hits paper, it enters the world where teams can carry it, investors can weigh it, timelines can measure it, and fruit can verify it. Jesus said, which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost? Luke 14:28. Counting requires a plan. A plan requires a pattern. A pattern requires writing. God told Moses, see that thou make all things according to the pattern shewed to thee in the mount. Hebrews 8:5, Exodus 25:40. Heaven shows pictures. Earth builds from patterns. Patterns are documented pictures. You wouldn't get into a plane if the pilot said, we'll get there someday. Someday is not a street. The GPS in your car has one stubborn question before it releases guidance. Where is the destination? Not somewhere on the north side, not around there by the mall. The software refuses to guess. It demands an address, a number, a street, a city, a code. Write this down. Guidance requires specificity. If your document says we will help people, your GPS will spin. Who, where, how many? By when? With what standards? I feel called to youth, you say. That is a feeling. Document the destination. By June 30, we will launch a weekly after-school program for 60 teens in zip codes 33142 and 33147. Achieving a 20% improvement in reading comprehension by December 15, measured by diagnostic assessments A and B. Do you feel how the street just appeared? Now people can run. Documentation is not poetry, it is architecture. So let me give you the 4 frames. Every documented vision must carry so runners can carry you. Write this down. 4 frames. Why, where, what, when. Say them with me. Why, where, what, when. Again. Why, where, what, when. Why this is conviction. Why are we doing this? What righteous anger fuels this? What promise from Scripture anchors this? Why is this non-negotiable? Your why is the engine of endurance when obstacles rise. Nehemiah's why was clear. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Nehemiah 1-3. He didn't say, I think a wall would be nice. He named the disorder his gift would correct. Then he documented letters, resources, permissions, so specific he could hand them to governors. Nehemiah 2-7-8. Your why must be written so that a stranger can taste your urgency and judge your integrity. Where this is destination. What picture of the preferred future are you taking us to? We will reduce youth violence is a cloud. We will reduce juvenile assault incidents in District 5 by 30% within 18 months. Verified by police blotter data. Is a city with an address. Painted so clearly the team can see it with their eyes closed. God didn't tell Noah, build something that floats. He gave cubits, floors, windows, doors, destination as dimensions. Write this down. Destination language turns inspiration into direction. What this is, deliverables. What exactly will we produce, install, launch, reform, publish, train, or build to move us toward the destination? Who will receive it, and what standard defines done? If excellence is your only word, you have described nothing. Excellence must become a checklist. Jesus fed a multitude and told them to sit down by 50s. Luke 9:14. Why? Order makes delivery possible. Document your deliverables. We will publish a 1-2 module curriculum. We will install filtration units in 400 homes. We will certify 50 mentors at level 2 competency. Now your team can make and measure. When this is deadlines and milestones, hope is not a schedule. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Habakkuk 2-3. Appointed means calendared. What will be finished by Q1? What is the 30-day win that builds morale? What is the 6-month milestone that attracts partners? Nehemiah built the wall in 52 days. That is a date. Write this down. Deadlines dignify destiny. They put honor on time and turn drift into drive. Let me show you how this looks when a person chooses paper over presumption. I sat with a young man, we'll call him Ethan, who said, I want to help boys in my neighborhood. I said, that's noble. Now document it. We wrote his why. Fatherlessness and idle hours between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. are producing violence. Proverbs 22:6 anchors my conviction. Here's where, zip code 21217, within walking distance of Oak Street Middle School. We aim for 100 boys by year 2. Here's what, a staff center open 5 days a week, 2 hours daily, tutoring, boxing, coding, 1 hot meal, a quarterly rite of passage weekend, a parent engagement night monthly, his when, lease signed by March 31, first 25 boys enrolled by May 15, reading scores up 1 grade level by December 10. Police calls on Oak Street down 25% year over year. He added budgets, roles, standards. He printed it. He shared it. Within weeks, a retired teacher volunteered. A boxing coach moved his classes. A landlord offered a discount because for the first time, I can see where you're going. Money followed maps. Who was the leader? No one. And everyone until a document appeared. When it did, function found its lane and fruit began to introduce him. Write this down. Documentation is love. It removes guessing from the people you say you value. It makes decisions in advance so meetings can move. It turns help me into here's how. It is how you scale your gift without stretching it thin. If it's not written, you will repeat yourself until your voice hoarsens and your team still won't know what to do. If it's written, you can hand your mind to 10 people and keep your energy for what only you can do. Now, some of you resist writing because you're hiding. Vague vision feels spiritual because no one can hold you accountable. But let your yea be yea. Matthew 5:37. Write your yeas. Put numbers on your nouns. If you fail, you learn faster. If you succeed, you know why. Write this down. Ambiguity is the sanctuary of fear. Precision is the playground of faith. Here is how to build your document this week. Sit down with a blank page and title it Vision Map. First paragraph, why? In 5 sentences, state the problem you will solve, the scripture that fuels you, and the value at stake if nothing changes. Second paragraph, where? Paint the preferred future in concrete terms. Include location, population, and a measurable change. Third paragraph, what? List the top 3 deliverables that move the needle, each with standards of done. Fourth paragraph, when? Assign dates to each deliverable and 3 interim milestones that tell you you're on pace. Final paragraph. Measures identify the scoreboard you will watch weekly. If it can't be counted or described, it can't be managed or celebrated. Then share it with 3 people who will not flatter you. Ask, can you run with this or is anything unclear? If they slow down on a sentence, you need to make it plainer. Remember, a GPS requires a precise address. Type 1 in and watch how options appear. Fastest route, toll roads, arrival time. Document your address and alternatives will serve you. Stay vague and options hide. Write this down. When you document, heaven and earth conspire to assist what is clear. Doors recognize blueprints. Say it now out loud so your heart signs the contract. I don't guess where I'm going. I document where I'm going. Again, like a builder before the first brick, I don't guess where I'm going. I document where I'm going. One more time, so your team can hear you before you even show them the page. I don't guess where I'm going. I document where I'm going. Because documentation transforms passion into a path others can walk. It turns anointing into architecture. It converts tears into timelines. It escorts conviction into calendars. And when the page is plain, runners will run, partners will appear, resources will align, and fruit will testify that vision has moved from mystery to method. Now pick up your pen. Your followers are waiting for mercy in ink. Step 3, deploy. This is where the picture on paper becomes pressure on problems. Deployment is not motion, it is ministry. It is your documented vision leaving your notebook and entering your neighborhood through your gift. Write this down. Deployment is service, not status, not noise, service. Even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. Mark 10:45. That means the model of greatness is not a throne, it's a towel. When you deploy, you pick up your towel and wash the feet your vision was born to carry. Let me separate employment from deployment so you never confuse them again. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Employment is a contract. Deployment is a calling. If they fire you, your job is gone. Your gift goes home with you. Write this down. I am not my paycheck. I am my gift deployed in service. Paul says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards. 1 Peter 4:10. Notice the verb minister. That's service. Your gift is not for selfies, it's for supply. Say it with me. Until the fear of man evacuates, I deploy my gift to serve my generation. Again, I deploy my gift to serve my generation. Leadership is not the votes you collect, it is the value you deliver. Some of you keep counting heads while starving hearts. Jesus said, ye shall know them by their fruits, Matthew 7:16. Not by their followers, not by their titles, by their fruits, evidence of value added to the earth. Write this down. Service is the measurement, fruit is the proof. Influence is the byproduct. This is why many title holders are lonely. They have rank without results. You don't need a crowd to begin. You need a contribution. Make one. Make it again. Make it better. That consistency. Preach your credentials. Who leads in a car? Open the hood for class. Is it the battery, the spark plugs, the pistons, the fuel pump, the $4 wire on the terminal? Who is the leader? No one and everyone. Each part leads by functioning fully in its domain. The battery doesn't envy the tire. The tire doesn't compete with the oil. The wire doesn't need applause. It needs contact. Write this down. Leadership is functional. Serve your function and the whole moves. When each part deploys, the car advances. When one part resigns, multi-million-dollar machinery sits still for want of a $4 piece. That's you in your organization. Stop waiting for the steering wheel's title. Be the wire that wakes the engine. Deployment is daily obedience in the direction of your documented destination. Let's get practical. You wrote it down. You made it plain. Now you must make it move. How? Establish a cadence that converts intention into impact. Write this down. Weekly service slots, monthly prototypes, quarterly launches. Say it with me. Weekly, monthly, quarterly. Again, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Weekly service slots, block time on your calendar devoted to serving your vision through your gift. No negotiations. If your assignment is to restore literacy, like Jamal, 2 evenings a week become sacred reading labs, non-transferable appointments with destiny. If your assignment is to bring order to chaotic systems, reserve every Tuesday morning to audit one process and deliver one improvement. If your assignment is to translate complexity into clarity, schedule a 1-hour live session each week where you teach one concept plainly to the people your vision names. Write this down. Time is the altar where vision is sacrificed or sanctified. If it isn't on your calendar, it is not in your life. Monthly prototypes every 30 days produce a tangible artifact that moves the vision from idea to experience. Jamal created a 1-page phonics game in month 1, a reading buddy rubric in month 2, and a parent coaching guide in month 3. A systems leader may build a mock workflow, then a dashboard, then a training video. A designer may craft a style board, then a beta kit, then a tested template. Write this down. Prototype beats postpone. Perfection is the enemy of deployment. God didn't build the earth in one day. He moved from evening to morning, stage to stage, and God saw that it was good. Genesis 1, good is deployable. perfect is imaginary. Quarterly launches every 90 days publicly release a measurable piece of the vision to the people it serves. This is not about virality, it's about visibility for value. Jamal launched Saturday Stories for the neighborhood in Q1, summer word camps in Q2, family red nights in Q3. He didn't wait for a grant. He started with a room and a roster. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. The room appears when the gift is working, not when it is waiting. Write this down. Launch what you have where you are and let fruit write your introduction. Deployment will provoke critique. That's fine. Fruit answers critics better than arguments. When Nehemiah built, Sanballat mocked Nehemiah's reply, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6-3. Stay on the wall. Keep laying bricks. Every finished section silences a slander. Say it with me. I don't chase applause. I chase assignment. Again, I don't chase applause. I chase assignment. Let me show you how fruit leads. Jamal didn't print a glossy brochure. He served. Children began reading. Grades moved. Discipline referrals dropped. Teachers reported calmer classrooms. Parents cried in parking lots because sons were speaking words they once feared. The principal heard and visited. One school became 3. The district called. A foundation asked, how can we help? Jamal never chased a follower. Fruit became his magnet. Write this down. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to fruit. If you deploy consistently, your harvest becomes your headline. Some of you ask, but what if I'm inside someone else's organization? Good. Deployment is not rebellion, it is responsibility. Joseph deployed inside Egypt. Daniel deployed inside Babylon. Both served another's platform with God's pattern, and fruit promoted them. Seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Diligence in deployment escorts you to influence you. Didn't request. Your supervisor may sign your paycheck, but God watches your stewardship. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. 1 Corinthians 4:2. Be faithful where you stand. God will introduce you when it matters. Now hear the warning in love. Business is not deployment. Activity without alignment is harassment. Write this down. Deploy your gift in the direction of your document. If you can't trace today's task to the written destination, you are bleeding energy pruned. Jesus said, every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning is part of deployment. Remove good things that don't serve the great thing. Excellence is evangelism. Consistency is credibility. Fruit is advertising. Keep the standard high and the schedule holy. Let me give you a deployment drill for the next 90 days. Week 1, select 2 weekly service slots and defend them like a courtroom. Week 2, build your first prototype, something someone can touch, use, or experience in one sitting. Week 3, test it with 5 real people. Listen, measure, refine. End of month, improve it by 20% and document what changed. Month 2, ship version 2 and add a second microservice to your weekly slots. Month 3, host your quarterly launch, however small, a workshop, a pilot, a clinic, a toolkit release. Track fruit, testimonies, metrics, outcomes. Write this down. What you measure multiplies. Keep a fruit ledger. Numbers are not your master, but they are your mirror. And now, make your mouth agree with your movement. Say it strong. Like you mean to disturb your limits, I deploy my gift to serve my generation. Again, I deploy my gift to serve my generation. One more time. For the people your vision will heal, I deploy my gift to serve my generation. This is how leaders are revealed. Not by platforms handed to them, but by problems served through them. When you serve your documented vision through your gift, fruit becomes your magnet. People will find you because solutions announce you. Titles may come, they may not, it doesn't matter. Function leads. Service reigns. Fruit speaks. Go to your calendar, sanctify your slots, Produce your prototype. Announce your launch. Heaven will meet you at the point of movement. And when they ask, who put you in charge? Smile and answer with a question, where are we going? Then point to the vision. Serve through your gift and let the harvest do the talking. Now let me show you why followership shows up without a badge when vision is present. People are tired of being impressed. They want to be instructed. Write this down. People follow pictures, not positions. Clarity creates community. Proverbs 29-18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Another translation says, they cast off restraint, they wander. But when a picture is painted clearly enough to see with the heart, feet find lanes, hands find tools, and strangers become a team without anyone flashing a title. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Coríntios 14:8. Uncertain sound, no movement, clear sound. Watch an army rise from the benches. Consider Rosa Parks. She did not hold a cabinet seat. She held a seat on a bus. Leadership is born when toleration ends. That day, she refused to surrender a God-given dignity to a man-made policy. Her no was not stubbornness, it was a picture. Hear it, a city where bus seats bow to image and likeness, not to pigment and prejudice. That picture is so specific you could sit in it, ignited a boycott, organized carpools, rerouted routines, and gave pastor schedules, no election, no charisma tour. A woman, a seat, a sentence, no more. Write this down. The moment your conviction paints a destination, people will choose inconvenience to join you. They did not follow Rosa because she was famous. They followed because they could see where she was going. Direction preceded authority. Vision issued the license to lead. This is the magnet principle. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders, not to noise, to a picture. Jesus was not collecting fans. He was revealing a destination. I must preach the kingdom of God to other cities also. For therefore am I sent. Luke 4:43. That is a map. He told fishermen, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. Matthew 4:19. Destination language. He named where they were going and function, not just location. They dropped nets because they could see themselves in the future. He described, write this down, when you describe a future that dignifies people's gifts, they will rearrange their present to get there. Let me talk to you about belief transfer. The lion is not the strongest in the jungle. The elephant outweighs him, outsizes him, and could turn him into a doormat in one move. But attitude is the difference between lunch and legend. The lion looks at the elephant and sees dinner. The elephant looks at the lion and sees danger. Your eyes say that's an elephant. Your belief says that's lunch. And here's the mystery. The lion's confidence enrolls the elephant's strength. The elephant's mass becomes a servant to the lion's mentality. What does that have to do with you? Write this down. Attitude scales impact because people borrow their belief from the clearest voice in the room. If your vision is documented, dated, and dignifying, the strongest people in your environment will lend their strength to your direction. Not because you're the biggest, because you're the clearest. This is why charisma is a dangerous counterfeit. Charisma can move a crowd, only clarity can move a community. Write this down. Charisma without a clear destination is manipulation. Clarity is ethical influence. Matthew 15:14 warns us, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Blind charisma is entertaining but deadly. Ethical leadership points at a destination, names the cost, defines the standards, and then serves. That is why Habakkuk was told, write the vision and make it plain, because ethical influence must be verifiable, not mystical. You don't need smoke machines. You need street names, timelines, and fruit that can be tasted. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, John 15:8. Fruit is honest. It testifies without shouting. Some of you are still waiting for a title to post on your profile so you can gather people. Hear me with love. Titles are labels on empty jars if there is no content. Write this down. Titles announce. Vision invites. Titles ask for applause. Vision asks for shoes. The reason your rooms are half full is not because you lack charm. It is because you have not shown a destination that justifies the sacrifice of leaving home. Show them where we're going, and they will bring their own water. This is why Nehemiah, with letters and measurements in his hand, could recruit by night. He walked the ruins and said, "Ye see the distress that we are in. Come and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem," Nehemiah 2:17. He named the problem, pointed to the picture, and people replied, "Let us rise up and build." No badge, a blueprint. Let me put flesh on this. A sister in this room, let's call her Naomi, documented a vision for a mobile pantry that would park twice a week in food deserts within a 5-mile radius, targeting 300 families, reducing grocery expenses by 20% over 3 months. She printed routes, volunteer roles, hygiene standards, and a 2-year budget. She had no title, she had paper. Within days, a retired truck driver gave Tuesdays, a farmer donated crates, a high school offered students for service hours. The city council, suspicious at first, said yes because the document answered their liability questions before they asked. Who was the leader? No one. And everyone. The document created lanes where all their strengths could flow in order. That is attraction dynamics. Clear vision ethically attracts willing followers who choose direction over display. I must protect you here. Do not confuse hype with help. If a man promises you mountains but can't point to a map, lower your hands and lift your questions. Say it with me. Don't be impressed with power, ask where we're going. Again, don't be impressed with power, ask where we're going. One more time till your discernment wakes up. Don't be impressed with power, ask where we're going. When you ask that question, you protect your destiny from ditches and your energy from exploitation. Remember, my sheep hear my voice, John 10:27. Voice there is not mere sound, it is signature content. It is direction, not performance. Write this down. Clarity is the highest courtesy you can give a potential follower. It tells them what to expect, what to endure, what to celebrate, and when to say no. When you make it plain, you dethrone confusion and make room for consent. Fellowship should be a choice, not a trance. That is why we document. That is why we paint pictures in numbers and nouns. That is why we say where we're going before we ask anyone to come. People are not dumb. They are starved for direction. And when they see a destination that honors their gift and advances righteousness, they will choose your assignment without your title, and they will bring their elephant strength to your lion belief. So stop rehearsing your resume. Start revealing your route. Stop counting followers. Start counting fruit. When the picture is plain, the right people will appear like iron filings to a magnet, aligning themselves not to your personality, but to the pull of a clearly drawn future. This is holy attraction. This is ethical influence. This is vision commanding fellowship without titles. Now that the picture is plain and the magnet is working, I must pastor your momentum. Vision without guardrails becomes velocity toward a ditch. Write this down. Guardrails preserve momentum by keeping the vision aligned with truth and character. Jesus warned, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. Blindness there is not lack of eyes. It is lack of alignment. So every step you take from this day, you will test it against the document you wrote. Say with me, test direction against destination. Again, test direction against destination. If the day's activity cannot be traced to the written picture, it is not progress, it is drift. This is why your document is not decoration, it is a plumb line. Nehemiah carried letters, measurements, and a timetable. When the enemies tried to lure him to a meeting, he consulted the wall and replied, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Write this down. Your written vision gives you permission to say no. A leader's greatest discipline is not scheduling the next event, it is refusing the wrong invitation. Guardrail, one destination check, Before you commit to an opportunity, a partnership, a platform, or a purchase, ask one question. Does this move us toward the picture? If not, honor it with a no. Love is clear. Leadership is clear. Second guardrail, character over charisma. Let me do some surgery. The Greek word charisma simply means grace, gift, endowment, gifts, not growth, not gravity, gifts. Paul lists them in 1 Corinthians 12. But gifts are not proof of maturity. Fruit is. Jesus said, ye shall know them by their fruits, Matthew 7:16. And the Spirit lists those fruits as love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, Galatians 5:22, 2-3. Write this down. Gifts can open a door, only character can keep you in the room. I am not impressed when you prophesy. I am impressed when you apologize. I am not impressed with your tongues. I'm impressed with your temperance. Guardrail 2 fruit test. If a decision multiplies pressure but diminishes peace, if it expands your platform but shrinks your patience, if it gains followers but loses gentleness, it is a violation. Leaders don't trade fruit for fans. Say it with me, fruit over fireworks. Again, fruit over fireworks. Third guardrail, the speed trap. Culture has set limits that did not come from God. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your belief is the governor on your engine. I have told you before of the Audubon moment when I took the cap off my mind and discovered life after the speedometer. Write this down. Audit your limits. Remove the ones culture installed. Some of you are driving a 500 horsepower assignment in a 30 mile per hour mindset. Your family, your industry, your denomination, your neighborhood. Good people put signs on your destiny that don't match your design. I am not telling you to break laws. I am telling you to challenge lies. Create a quarterly limit audit. Ask, what am I calling wisdom that is really fear? What rule am I obeying that God never wrote? Then replace artificial caps with authored convictions from the document. Remember, let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Red rule, manage, govern within your assignment. Don't outrun your character, but don't underdrive your calling. Fourth guardrail, the feedback loop. Vision without counsel becomes a cult. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. But hear me, counselors are not cheerleaders. They ask the question you wrote, does this move us toward the picture? Build a wise circle, 3 to 7 voices who love truth more than your feelings, who prefer fruit over friendship, and who can read your document. Give them permission to interrogate your quarterly launches, your spending, your metrics, your motives. Write this down. Correction protects direction. Say it out loud till your pride bows. Correction protects direction. Hebrews 12:6 says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. Discipline is love with a steering wheel. Psalm 23 says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The rod corrects, the staff directs. Comfort is not the couch. It is the rod and staff that keep you out of the canyon. Let's name practical guardrails so you can install them by sundown. Financial guardrail, no expenditure without a line on the document and a line in the budget. If a donor demands that you move the destination, return the check with thanks. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of stew, Genesis 25-34. Don't sell your vision for a grant cycle. Time, guardrail, weekly service slots are sacred. No last-minute urgent call should evict your assignment from its house. Relationship guardrail. Create a flattery filter. If praise increases but accountability decreases, distance yourself. Temptation guardrail. Never be alone in compromised context. Samson was strong until he slept in the wrong salon. Communication guardrail. Every piece of content must include the destination, the next step, and the standard. Vague talk invites vague travel. Install a red team, a small trusted unit tasked with finding blind spots. Their sacred question, where can this break? Where are we self-deceived? If they cannot tell you the ugly, they are not guarding you, they are grooming you for a fall. Install scoreboards, simple dashboards tied to the document. 3 leading indicators, input you control, and 3 lagging indicators, fruit you measure. Make them public to the team. Write this down. What you hide decays. What you expose matures. Light is a disinfectant and a guide. Honor Sabbath as a guardrail. Fatigue makes fools. Elijah defeated prophets before collapsing under a tree asking to die. God gave him sleep and food before strategy. 1 Kings 19. Rest is not rebellion, it is maintenance. A car without oil changes will testify in smoke. Leaders without rest preach burnout as bravery. Not here. Rest keeps your discernment sharp so you can spot ditches in daylight. Now I will set daily and weekly checkpoints. Daily. 1, 0, minute, alignment. Read the documented destination. Pray Psalm 139 to 23, 2, 4, and ask, which task today moves us one measurable step closer? Cancel one activity that doesn't. Weekly, 3-0, minute council. Review fruit. Ask your 2 questions. What worked? What wandered? Realign. Monthly. 1 hour red team challenge. Let them test assumptions, budgets, ethics, and timelines. Quarterly vision summit. Restate the picture, report the fruit, prune the plan, and reaffirm the standards. Say it with me. Prune to progress. Again, prune to progress. John 15:2. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Every branch. Finally, remember why guardrails exist. They are not to slow you, they are to secure you. They do not insult your driving, they protect your arrival. Write this down. Boundaries birth boldness. When your standards are high and your checks are honest, you can drive faster with a holy confidence. Titles may watch you, critics may shadow you. It doesn't matter. Truth is under you. Character is around you. Counsel is before you. And correction, say it again, correction protects direction. Keep the document open. Keep the fruit in view. Keep your heart clean. And keep wise voices near. You will not wander. You will not waste. You will arrive with fruit in both hands. And a team that chose the same road because your vision stayed inside the guardrails. Now we make clarity a lifestyle, not a weekend, not a conference high, a lifestyle. Write this down. Ritualized focus converts vision from a moment of inspiration into a movement of execution. You don't drift into destiny, you drive there daily. Say it with me. I move my vision every day. Again, I move my vision every day. Begin with the morning read aloud. Keep your written vision where your eyes wake up. By the bed, on the mirror, in the notes on your phone, printed on your desk. Before the world speaks, let your vision set the compass. Read it out loud. Why out loud? Because your voice programs your heart. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Then thou shalt make thy way prosperous. Joshua 1-8. Did you see it? Mouth, meditate, make. Speak it, think it, then make it. David said, my voice shalt thou hear in the morning. I will direct my prayer unto thee and will look up. Psalm 5-3. Morning is direction time. Habakkuk heard, write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Now make it plain to your ears daily. Read it slow until your inner picture sharpens. Declare who you are. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Declare where you are going. I see the destination and I move toward it today. Immediately after the read aloud, install the rule of 3. Write this down. The day bows to 3 moves, not 30, 3. Ask, which 3 actions, if done today, move us measurably toward the documented destination? Make them specific, time-bound, and within your control. Not change the city, but draft a partnership letter to the clinic and send before noon. Not fix literacy, but design 5 new phonics cards and test them with 2 students. Not be excellent, but revise the onboarding SOP and publish version 1.2. Put them on paper where you can see them. Your brain honors ink. If it is not on the top 3, it is not today. Say it with me. If it's not in the 3, it's not for me today. Again, if it's not in the 3, it's not for me today. Then protect the deployment block. Give your gift the first fruits of your focus. 60 to 90 minutes, no negotiations, before you answer a single email. After your read aloud and top 3 selection, enter the block. Airplane mode is not demonic, it is devotional. Jesus woke a great while before day to align with the Father. Mark 1:35. Then he went about doing good. Acts 10:38. Alignment, then assignment. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these other things, responses, requests, replies, will be added in their place. Matthew 6:33. Write this down. The inbox is someone else's agenda. The deployment block is your assignment. In that block, do not talk about the vision. Build a piece of it you named in the top 3. Produce, prototype, publish, send. You are tithing time to destiny. Noise will knock. Let it wait at the door of your block. Your team will learn your rhythm. Your phone will unlearn your addiction. A car's engine needs oil to run. Your gift needs uninterrupted heat to move from idea to artifact. 10 minutes of scattered attention cannot replace 90 minutes of holy focus. Make the block the hottest fire in your day. When the block ends, come up for air. Then schedule 2 windows later for communication and coordination. You honor people best after you have honored the purpose that makes you useful to them. Now, keep a daily fruit ledger. 1 line at day's end. What moved? What fruit appeared? A student read a new word? Log it. A process shaved 3 minutes? Log it. A donor replied with interest? Log it. Numbers are not your master, but they are your mirror. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. Proverbs 27-23. Write this down. Consistency compounds clarity. When you review a week of ledgers, you will see a line, not dots. Clarity increases with motion the way headlights brighten the road as the car advances. Install a weekly review, 30 to 45 minutes, same slot every week. Sit with your document and your scoreboard. Ask 3 questions. What moved? What stalled? What's next? Compare fruit to the plan. Celebrate progress. Celebration trains the brain to return to the right path. Confront drift. Pruning prevents waste. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. John 15:2. Update your metrics. Leading indicators you control, calls made, lessons delivered, prototypes shipped, and lagging indicators you measure. Students reading at grade level, error rate reduced, wait time cut. Align next week's top 3s to what the data demands, not to what your feelings prefer. Leaders love reality because reality loves results. Let me show you this in motion. Jamal's mornings begin with, I see a city where every 8-year-old reads with joy by 3rd grade. He reads it, then chooses his 3. Finalize the short old card set, scheduled Thursday's parent clinic, and analyze last week's reading speeds. He enters a 90-minute deployment block, phone off, door closed. By 8:45 a.m., the short old set exists. Fruit is on paper, emails answer later. On Friday, he opens his ledger. 7 students advanced 1 level, 2 stalled. He asks, what's common about the 2? He adjusts next week's top 3 to address it. No title change, fruit moved, clarity strengthened, momentum grew. That is how the invisible becomes visible daily. For those inside organizations, the rhythm still holds. Your employer gets hours. Your assignment gets first power. Give the block before you clock in, or at lunch, or in the evening. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Your work is what you were born to do. Write this down. When your day begins with vision and ends with review, you cannot be hijacked by noise in between. You will still serve interruptions, but they will not steal your intention. Install micro alignments. At midday, take 3 minutes to read the top 3 again. Ask which one is next. At day's end, read the destination once more and thank God for fruit. Gratitude is fertilizer. It multiplies what you honor. Sleep becomes stewardship, not escape. Tomorrow's read aloud will have more substance because today's hands made something to read about. Now lift your voice with conviction till your old habits get nervous. I move my vision every day. Again, I move my vision every day. One more time with your future listening. I move my vision every day. Keep the morning read aloud. Defend the rule of 3. Consecrate the deployment block and honor the weekly review. If you do this for 90 days, the ground will testify. People will say you changed. You didn't change. You became scheduled. You didn't get lucky. You got liturgical with your assignment. Vision is not a mood. It's a method. And your method, repeated, will make a movement. Now we close the loop. You have guardrails. You have a cadence. Now hear the paradox that protects your destiny from politics. Write this down. Don't ask who's in charge. Ask where we're going. That one sentence will deliver you from personality cults and plant you in purposeful communities. Titles may run the meeting, but vision runs the movement. The question that creates leaders is not who, it is where. Proverbs 29-18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where? Destination. When the where is clear, the who finds its function. Let me summarize your marching order so you can march. Discover, document, deploy. Say it with me. Discover, document, deploy. Again, discover, document, deploy. Discovery, meeting, the assignment called you. Documentation, turning a desire into a destination others can walk. Deployment, serving that documented vision through your gift until fruit starts preaching. Write this down. Vision precedes leadership. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth, I sanctified thee. That means your birth certificate is proof of a pre-existing plan. Your parents produced a body. God released an agenda. Our foundation has never moved. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Read, govern, rule, manage within your assignment. Vision clarifies the boundaries of that dominion. It tells you where to be bold and where to be quiet. It tells you what to build and what to bless. Write this down. Vision is more important than leadership because vision gives leadership something to lead to. Without a picture, power is dangerous. With a picture, power is stewardship. So we honored Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain. We converted mystery to method. We moved from vibe to verbs, from fireworks to fruit. Now to the paradox that will set you free from ego and set your team free from envy. Who's the leader? Open the hood. The $4 terminal wire, the battery, the camshaft, the fuel pump, the steering column. Who is the leader? No one. And everyone in function under a shared vision. 1 Corinthians 12 says, the body is not one member, but many. Ephesians 4:16 adds that the whole body is fitly joined together according to the effectual working in the measure of every part. Every part leads by doing what it was designed to do in alignment with the destination. Titles are labels. Function is leadership. When the document is plain and the fruit is measured, there is no confusion, no competition, no unnecessary meetings. The picture tells the parts what to do. So I commission your mouth before I commission your feet. Say it loud. The world needs my gift. My vision serves my generation. Again, the world needs my gift. My vision serves my generation. One more time. Until fear packs its bags, the world needs my gift. My vision serves my generation. Psalm 139:16 says, all the days ordained for me were written in your book. If it was written, then write. If it was ordained, then act. If it was purpose, then produce. Now, the immediate charge, because delay is a sophisticated word for disobedience. In the next 72 hours, write it, share it with 2 people, schedule 1 deployment act, write the vision, 1 page, nouns and numbers, a picture a child can see. Share it with 2 truth tellers, people who love fruit more than flattery. Schedule 1 deployment act. Put it on the calendar where money and time obey. James 1:22 says, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Doers schedule, schedulers ship. Shippers bear fruit. Say it with me. I will write it. I will share it. I will schedule it. Again, I will write it. I will share it. I will schedule it. When you do this, watch what happens to crowds. Crowds become crews. Fans become foremen. Spectators find stations. Shared, written, served vision turns crowds into crews and titles into functions. John 15:8. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Fruit is God's applause. Fruit is your business card. Fruit is the magnet. People will ask less about your role and more about your results. They will not be hunting the boss. They will be hunting the blueprint. This is why Nehemiah could say, come and let us build. And men replied, let us rise up and build. The blueprint commanded a team. And let me end where leadership truly begins, toleration. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Some of you in this room have tolerated vagueness. You have tolerated drifting meetings, tolerated unmeasured efforts, tolerated charisma without clarity. Tonight, bury toleration. Write this down. I refuse to tolerate a visionless life. Don't ask for more followers, ask for more fruit. Don't beg for position, beg for precision. Don't ask who's in charge, ask where are we going. If the answer is not on paper, do not lend your energy to it. If the answer is plain and righteous, rearrange your life to run with it. So here is the sending. You are not leaving a seminar. You are entering a sanctuary of assignment. I release you to discover with courage, document with clarity, and deploy with consistency. I release you as lions in attitude and servants in posture, bold in belief, humble in service. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Serve your work. Let your gift make room for you. Let fruit introduce you. Let character keep you. And when they ask you, as they will, who put you in charge, smile and answer like a citizen of vision. Don't ask who's in charge, ask where we're going, then point to the page, lift the standard, wash the feet, and lead by function. Now, lift your voice for the last time like an oath before heaven and history. The world needs my gift. My vision serves my generation. I will write it, I will share it, I will schedule it, I will deploy until fruit leads. Amen. Go.